They're off.
All right, welcome to the 2019 MV Invitational. We have our first event underway now. A little bit humid out today, 60 degrees or so, expecting some showers to come a little bit later. As we do see the first leg of the girls 4x8 coming around, that is Ella Malone of Cole Brown in the lead. Today's Meet Hub is brought to you by Speed Sport Timing. See that up in the corner. They're also doing all of the timing here today, which allows us to see on the clock that they do get her in around a 72.
And it looks like Cole Brown is making a bit of a gap.
Overall, not terrible for running right now, but again, we do expect some downpours later today. Be a pretty steady breeze throughout. And I'd say for about half the teams here, it's their first big invite of the season. The other half have probably had one under their belt.
And Cole Brown seems to be pulling away.
So coming into the first handoff, Ella Malone handing off to Sam LeMay.
226, 227.
It's a good opening leg.
Pretty good
About
gap.
a 9:52 split for their first handoff. Cole Brown does hold the meet record in this event.
And the meet record is 9:46 from Cole Brown, by Cole Brown.
Still a little early to tell to see if they're trying for that, as they do get past. I believe that's Hanover.
Yep.
Expect Hanover to put together a good team as well.
Yes. And that was a strong move by Hanover.
Always interesting to see where the athletes pass each other. Usually you're hoping to see them pass coming off of the turn, kind of rolling off of the turn.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to be working just a little bit too hard.
Yeah, and even before the turn, because it's pretty hard to pass on the turn.
Of course, today we are joined by the voice of Aiden Cox. We'll have Dave Zink bringing us through the race momentarily.
Please check in this time.
And here comes the second handoff. Hanover with a pretty good size lead. Cole Brown a bit behind.
So Hanover number one at about 4:55 or so. Cole Brown number two Bit of a gap before we get to 3 and 4, although it does look like they've got a good battle going on. Trying to get a little bit of an edge for their teammate with that handoff. Conval and I believe Hopkinton.
Yeah.
We have Guilford passing off now. As we do turn our attention again back to our leader, who has about 200 meters left of this lap. Still her first lap. But Hanover definitely looking to increase that gap. And use a little bit of the lap traffic to help her. And that is one of the things with track that you can do if you start getting to the point where you're looking at lapping teams, is you can look ahead of you and try and reel that person in.
Yeah.
What do you think, AT? Is it easier to run with nothing in front of you, or chasing people down and then having to pass them?
Definitely chasing them down, cause you could definitely like just fall asleep when you're just running by yourself with no one in front of you.
I think when I'm doing distance stuff, I'm laboring too hard to fall asleep, but that might just be me. So with our leader at about 200 to go, we do have the girls jumping back onto the track.
Hanover finishing strong.
Yep, she's on her straightaway now. Get a good kick in.
Yeah.
Cole Brown in second, about 60, 70 meters back or so. So as long as Hanover's last leg can hold on, they should be all set.
Yep.
Of course, here at the MV Invite, it is not team scored, which really opens up some things. Athletes are also limited to only 2 individual events as well as 2 relays. So they can still do 4 things, but they have to be the pure term of the word athlete in order to do it.
And Hanover still the pretty good lead going around the lapped runners.
Does look like Cole Brown is closing that gap.
Yes.
Attention all athletes, attention all boys discus throwers. Boys discus throwers, you need to have already checked
And we hear the bell lap.
Cole Brown
officials will be scratching your name. Athletes and coaches,
made Cole Brown completes the pass on the turn.
That is Sophie Laird for Cole Brown. Really putting the kick on with this 800.
Yep.
She is more of a mid-distance runner, so this is right in her wheelhouse. We'll see if Hanover can do anything to respond, but right now, Sophie's got about a 25-meter lead.
All right, so where are we at, AT?
So Cole Brown looks like they're gonna win this.
Okay. They're finishing?
Yep. Hanover second. Is that third?
So it looks like Hanover and Co-Brown
Co-Brown.
finishes in
About
10:07.
10:07.
It's like Hanover will take
Hanover.
second, Sanborn third.
Yep. Or no,
Nope,
Sanborn
rather,
is not
they
done.
are not finishing. So Hanover is second. Hopkinton is coming around in third. They're just getting
Yep.
onto the straightaway now.
And Hopkinton, 10:41. Conval, 10:50.
So seeing some pretty good kicks today.
Yep.
Again, this is a pretty big meet, which means that there will be a lot of time in between events. So some of these athletes might be going a little bit hard, especially because for 4x8, you don't always see 4x8 at the weekday meets. So a lot of teams looking to get a good time in today.
Guilford, Sanborn finishing. And it has started to rain.
Yeah, feeling a little bit of a sprinkle now.
Yep.
Conant coming in, 11:55. And it looks like our boys are getting ready for it. See them now. Still got a couple finishers out there, at least one.
Yep. All right, so in the boys 4x8, there's Co-Brown, Conval, Pembroke, Monadnock, Bishop Brady,
Conval, Conant.
Conant, yeah. Hopkinton.
What's the meet record on this one?
8:30.
8:30, set by Co-Brown
Co-Brown.
back in 2013.
Yep.
Got a little bit of rain coming down, but otherwise good conditions today. Low 60s. So, boys 4x8 is off.
So we see the clock is still running from girls' race. That will actually change over. We're reading right from the timers, and the way that it works is they might still be reading the picture of the last race, in which case they will then accept the clock, and it will change over shortly. I see pausing now, opening a new event, and through the magic of computers.
First lap coming to a conclusion here. We got Co-Brown in the lead, followed by Hopkinton. They're pretty much neck and neck. See Conant in fourth. We've got Monadnock in third. Bishop Brady in fifth.
So it looked like they
and
came through.
Derryfield in sixth.
Came through right around 64.
Well, 2:08 pace for that opening leg, which is a little bit over the current meet record. Be right around at 8:32. Wind's picking up here a little bit.
Yeah.
That'll make the 200 and up races pretty interesting. Most of the straightaways are going to have the wind at their back, which helps them.
Looks like Co Brown and Monadnock
Yep.
have pulled away.
Separating themselves from Hopkinton and Conant.
Strong finish.
And Brady. Good finish for Porter Higas. They came in at 2:05. So negative splitting that last 400. Now under the meet record pace set 6 years ago. Be about an 8:20, 8:21.
Co Brown now has a
opening up about a 70-meter lead. And actually, Conant has taken over second place over Monadnock now. A bit of a West Coast battle here with Conant and Monadnock both being from that western part of the state.
We'll see who can come back in the last race. We watched Co Brown come from behind in the last leg.
Yeah, they got a 50-meter lead right now on Monadnock. Solid 65 on that first 400.
Looks like Conant and Hopkinton have caught Monadnock.
Yep. It's a three-way battle now for second place.
Yep.
Derryfield about 50 meters behind Hopkinton in fifth place. So the format here at the Merrimack Valley Invite is a little different than most meets. Athletes are allowed 2 individual events and 2 relay events to make up their 4 event limit. This meet dates back to actually the Londonderry Invitational was the original format for this meet. And the current head coach at Merrimack Valley, Bob Mullen, took it over for Larry Martin in 2001 and turned it into the Merrimack Valley Invitational. We see Co Brown going from their second to third runner. At a 4:16. So right around just over meet record pace. Monadnock and Conant making it a really, really close race for second.
Yep.
Conant with a slightly better handoff takes the lead. Co Brown still comfortably about 60 meters ahead of the field. So the origins of this meet was meant to give all of these smaller schools kind of a big, high-quality meet for them all to participate in. And since turning it into the Merrimack Valley Invitational, Bob has definitely kept that spirit of the meet alive, with many of the smaller schools from outside of the capital region coming here to Pennacook to compete in this meet.
And here you see some of the lead runners using the lap runners.
Conant now opening up a lead on Monadnock.
As the final legs come to the track.
Yeah. Hopkinton still holding on to fourth place.
Yep.
Opening up over a 100-meter lead on fifth place Derryfield. And actually Derryfield just got passed by Bow, it looks like. Conval, rather. Conval. So here's Co Brown coming onto the straightaway for their third leg. They've now started to lap the entire field. Well, 6:29 going in, so they would have to run about a 2 flat in order to break the meet record.
Yeah.
But that's probably not what they're looking to do today, just run a fast opening 4x8 for the season.
And with this lead, I don't think they really need to go for any records if they're doing multiple events.
In sixth place, Sanborn Regional. In fifth place, Guilford. In fourth place, Conval. In third place, Hopkinton.
And by limiting the number of individual events that you can do at a meet like this, it does help to make this relay stronger. Because you'll tend to put in some of your better runners to get in multiple races throughout the day.
Just to let everybody know, there are MD Invitational shirts.
So we're going to have Co Brown on their gun lap.
Yep.
The doors to the middle school cafeteria.
And the second, third, and fourth place teams are about 100 meters behind now. Conant coming onto the straightaway. So we got Conant, and then we see behind them Monadnock, and behind Monadnock is Pembroke. Oh, rather Hopkinton, sorry. Pembroke is just handed off to their final runner. Co Brown coming on to the straightaway for the finish. Comfortably ahead of the rest of the field. By about 120 meters now. This is Colby Hoffman.
Eight
8:42.
Yeah.
It's a good time for them for the first race of the year. First 4x8 of the year, rather.
Yep.
Not the first race. Here's Conant in second place. They'll be just over 9 minutes. About a 9:02. Here we have Monadnock in third. 9:10. Here is our fourth place team, Hopkinton. So as we're watching the last of the 4x8s come in, we're going to prep our next event, which is the unseeded girls 1600. And I believe there will be 2 heats of this, and we'll see the seeded heat, the actual finals of the 1600, a little bit later on in its normal spot.
Yeah.
Usually we see 2 heats of both boys and girls in the unseeded 1600. And I am not entirely sure what that time cutoff was to make the seeded, but we will get that information shortly. Finishing Bishop Brady, Pembroke, and Derryfield. Conval. So we have our next event up on the track is the girls 1600 unseeded section.
The next event on the track is the girls 1600 meter unseeded. There are 2 heats of the girls 1600.
We're being told by the announcer, Jeff Nielsen, there are 2 heats of the girls 1600. So Aiden, if you were on the line with these kids, what's going through your mind right now as you're waiting for the gun?
I mostly just want to get out so that we're out of like all the trouble. I don't get caught on like the side of the track, trying to be on the outside follow.
Leave yourself in a good position for the rest of the race.
Try not to get boxed in on the inside.
So first heat of 2 for the girls unseeded 1600. We have a exhibition event today. At this meet is the 2,000 meter steeplechase.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how they go about making that event happen. So we know who's going to be in the seeded section of the 1600.
Attention all athletes, this is a first and final call for the second flight of the girls triple jump. Second flight of the girls triple jump, please check in.
But we don't quite know what the time cutoff was. For the boys, oh my gosh, we have 4 unseeded sections of the boys 16.
Oh, geez. And it looks like Kingswood.
Yep.
In the lead.
This will be Sarah, or no, Lily Stinchfield maybe?
It's 92. Yep.
So it's just over a 6-minute pace. We also have in this heat Izzy Ristiano from Campbell, Amy Burton from Kennett, Lily Stinchfield leading right now from Kingswood, Ava Shuri, Kylie Blad, Sindel Veensberg, Grace Purley, Aurora Kuto, Olivia Berkeley, Sarah Bellafleur, Olivia DiPrizio, Hannah Sims, Brianna Winder, Mira McCluskey, Bailey DePrez, Caitlin Harvey, and Marlia Richer. So pretty big heat. You can feel the rain coming into the tent a little bit now.
Yeah, with the wind.
Still pretty good conditions. Cool.
Yeah.
Not super windy. So we have kind of a lead pack that's now breaking free from the rest of the group. Looks like Amy Burton and Grace Purley from Kennett, along with Lily Stinchfield from Kingswood leading the pack. So they have 2 laps remaining. Following the boys 1600, we will then do our hurdle prelims, 100 prelims. And then I believe we are taking a small break. And then they will have the exhibition event, the 2,000 meter steeplechase, And then we'll proceed with the regular finals from that point on with the 110 hurdles, 100 hurdle finals, 100 dash finals. Then we'll see the seeded 1600s, the 4x1, 400, 300 hurdles, 800, 200, 2 mile, 4x4. Normal order of events from that point on.
And it looks like the 2 Kennett runners pulled away.
That's Amy Burton and Grace Purley. Probably
450 at the bell.
very familiar running against each other as teammates.
Yeah.
Attention all athletes, this is the first and final call for the second flight of the boys javelin. Second flight of the boys javelin, please check in at this time.
Do you find it more difficult to run through a big field when it starts to get spread out and you're lapping people, or do you use that to help you run faster?
I think it helps with the lap people because you have someone to chase, and if you're all by yourself, then you're just all alone and you could lose a pace.
Right. We have our 2 Kennett runners coming into our first heat finish. It's like they're going to race each other. This is
finish.
Amy Burton.
About 6.
6:16.
16. And
This is
6.
Grace Purley.
18.
Attention all athletes, attention all athletes.
comes
This is
a
the first and
pretty
final
big
call for the
pack.
second
Yep.
flight of the boys discus. Second flight of the boys
Campbell.
discus. Please check in at this time.
632. Belmont.
Belmont.
634.
Aurora.
Oh,
Here we
a
go.
move. Kearsarge.
Guilford,
I
Kearsarge,
go-
Kingswood,
Kingswood got it.
Co-Brown.
We're all around 6 in the 640s, low
Yep.
640s. Pembroke, 655.
We have our second heat setting up on the infield. Brianna DeBanico from Lebanon, Caroline Loescher from Hanover, Maya Weil-Cooley from Interlakes, Anna O'Reilly from Hopkinton, Chelsea Cooper from St. Thomas, Carolyn Day from Kingswood, Amelia Edmonds from Co-Brown, Veronica Dowd from Prospect Mountain, Kate Westbrook from Hopkinton, Kendall Larson from Conval, Libby Vandermeer from Plymouth, Madison McDonald from John Stark, Courtney Jelena from John Sanborn, Grace Kaplan from John Stark, Elise Cleesby from Pembroke, and Emma Herndon from Lebanon. Our second of 2 unseeded 1600s.
Up on the track is the second heat of the girls 1600 meter unseeded.
So again, a big field here, 16. Important to get off the line and not get boxed in, especially in a big field like this. Our top 12 girls will be competing later in the meet in the seeded section of the 1600. Starter Andy Hodgkin just getting the girls to the line.
Oh,
Oh,
now call
somebody
it back.
fell down, so they'll call it back.
Yeah, it's a pretty slippery track.
Yeah, especially with the rain.
Yeah.
It's like somebody kicked a cone into lane 1.
Oh, jeez.
tell that track is definitely a little bit slick.
Yeah, I could hear them coming across the line in the 4x8. There were a couple of,
Yeah.
especially the runners not wearing spikes, the ones wearing the flats.
Runners I'm looking at right now who just have trainers on.
Yeah,
Oh, gee.
yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
very slick. So we're getting them reset for the gun again. Like they took that cone out of the way.
Clean start.
On today's events, if the winners,
Yeah.
which would be the girls 4x800 team, the winners would please go to the Runner's Alley tent in the far back corner, entitled Runner's Alley, where they will be interviewed, which will also be online.
Getting a
later
glimpse
for the
at
first
some of
viewing.
the field events going on right now. Looks like we have boys high jump, boys javelin going on there in the infield.
Looks like they're out.
We have the
pretty
results
hard.
of the boys 4x800 meter relay. In 6th place, Derryfield. In 5th place, Pembroke. In 4th place, Bishop Brady. In 3rd place,
So it looks like the
Hopkinton.
cutoff
In 2nd
time to
place,
get into the girls
In 3rd
16
place,
was
the team with
5:38.
1.97 seconds, Conan. If
And the
Conan
cutoff
team
for the
would please
boys
go
seeded
for
heat
interview
was a 4:50.
at the Runner's Alley tent. All awards can be picked up at the front side of the track shack
Looks like
that faces
broken
out
up into
towards the
two
street.
groups.
Right underneath the Welcome to
Hanover
Merrimack
in the
Valley
lead,
traffic
coming
Yep.
through at about a 80.
That is Caroline Loescher.
Hopkinton leading the second pack. A bit of a gap growing between Hanover runner and Lebanon.
Yep. So these lead runners were just outside of the seeded 1600, but only by a few seconds, so they should be running a pace that we'll see later on in the seeded 1600, or closer to that pace anyway. This top group of 4 girls are all right around 540.
Looks like they've settled down a bit. Coming through the 800 at 247.
47. So that's Interlakes, Hanover, Lebanon, Hopkinton.
Yep.
We tried running through our own router, but it's not, the settings aren't correct. The IP settings aren't correct. They won't let us in.
Looks like Interlakes has closed the gap between her and Hanover,
It's Maya
making a pass.
Weil
right
Cooley
before the
from
turn.
Interlakes and Caroline Loescher from Hanover.
She gets the edge right before the
Yep.
turn.
And O'Reilly from Hopkinton right behind them.
Yep.
And a little back is Brianna DeBanico from Lebanon. So they're going to have 1 to go. And they get to the line.
Yep.
Try to go with her, Caroline, if you can. Get up on her, please.
Interlake seems to be making a move at the bell lap. 417, 416. Another gap growing.
Field is definitely spreading out.
Yeah.
And there's almost a minute between the leaders and the 15th and 16th seed times, so that's almost a full lap. They should be spread out around the track. Should be seeing our leader come through about the 200 mark now, just beyond, coming onto the straightaway. This is Maya Weil-Cooley from Interlakes.
Attention all athletes, attention all athletes. This is the first and final call for the boys. 110-meter hurdles preliminaries. Please check in at this time.
She
Boys,
came in at a 5:42 seed, and she's going to get just under that.
5:37.
5:38.
5:38. 5:40.
5:40 for Hopkinton.
Once again, I'd like to ask all athletes who are currently
Caroline
not
Loescher
running
of
or
Hanover.
competing in an event to please
5:50.
stop
Brianna
being on the
Dabanico.
field.
That
Thank you very much.
was Veronica Dowd of Prospect Mountain. And Chelsea Cooper of St. Thomas and Amelia Edmonds of Co-Brown finishing just above 6 minutes.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Our final runner, I think, coming onto the straightaway now. We'll run through our names for the first heat of the boys. Looks like Colm Sane from Hanover. Surprised to see him in this first heat. Gavin Hunt, Kennett, Cannon Newbury from Kingswood, Hayden Goyette from Pembroke, Riley Tinkham from Kennett, Gio Benari from Sanborn, Pedro Guerrera from Pelham, James Downs from Pelham, James Wells from
The next
Sanborn,
event on the track is
Justin
the boys
Wentworth, White Mountain,
1600-meter unseeded.
Aiden
There are
Kelly,
4
Bishop
heats of
Brady.
the boys 1600-meter unseeded.
Miles Wharton of White Mountain, and Jaden Mack of Interlakes. It's our first of 4 heats of the unseeded 1600. So Colm Sane is a name that you might recognize from the indoor state meet. He helped Hanover get their runner-up finish at the D2 championship meet. Very strong 600 runner. And they are off.
Quick start. Already gapping the field.
Yep.
Hanover.
Yeah, Colm was second in the boys 600 indoors at the state meet. So he's a very good runner. More of a middle distance guy, but 1600, so he goes through at 71. It's 4:45 pace. A little bit weird to see him in this unseeded heat, but that maybe been his strategy. He wasn't really looking to race all out today. He does seem to be running pretty relaxed. He's not. He doesn't have the hammer down right now, but he has over 100-meter lead on the rest of his heat right now.
Yeah. We'll see how his time matches.
2:25, so he's down at a 4:50 pace. It's turned into a one-man race, not even close for second place.
He's gonna start lapping runners soon.
Yep. This is where he could use them to keep under a pace if he's attempting to run like a 4:45 or 4:50 for this particular race.
Yep.
So gun lap.
3:40.
Doesn't seem to be really accelerating for this last lap, so it looks like he's just going to do it nice and comfortable for a time that should be under 5 minutes. .200 to go. He's right around 4:17.
At this time, the boys' 110-meter hurdles need to be checking in with Brandon McCoo.
On to the straightaway. So he'll be right around a 4:50.
Yeah.
Which is about the cutoff that they've given us for the boys' seeded section. So be interesting to see how his time matches up with theirs.
4:49.
So 4:49, just under 4:50 for Colmsane.
Yeah.
Hanover. Not sure what their strategy was here, putting him in this first unseeded heat. He definitely was capable of being in that seeded heat if he wanted to be. Here is our second finisher, Gavin Hunt from Kennett.
.546.
Yep. Behind him is Justin Wentworth
550.
of White Mountain.
554.
Riley Tinkham of
5601.
Just over 6 minutes now for these guys. We have a couple more.
Do you know if these heats are going fast to slow?
They're going slow to fast. So
slow to fast,
yep.
all right.
So the next heat should be a little bit faster than that previous one. Got Cameron DeLeva of Raymond, Nick Simpkins of Hopkinton, Chris Pear of Belmont, Frank Dowd of Prospect Mountain, Ben Parsons from Plymouth, Craig Nadig of Oyster River, J.J. Mars from St. Thomas, Louis Arenello of Kingswood, Jake Tedford of Sanborn, Paul Gendron of Goffstown, Henry Moneypenny from Kennett, Mitchell Hill of Monadnock, Mark Stannard from Kingswood, Stephen McDonald from Guilford, and Devin Patterson from John Stark. Cameron DeLeva of Raymond has the best seed time coming in of 5:25. The rain's picking up a little bit. I might put my jacket on, keep me dry.
Yeah, and the rain's coming down now.
Yep, it's definitely raining for real. It's tough when it's this warm and it's raining. You get really, really sweaty, and it's really hard to cool off with that rain. Now heat 2 is off. It's a clean start. If you're just joining us, we are NewHampshireTrackAndField.com, broadcasting from the 19th annual Merrimack Valley Invitational in Pennacook, New Hampshire. We are in the midst of our boys unseeded 1600, total of 4 heats. We are in heat 2 right now. Our only final event of record is the 4x800. Co-Brown boys and girls winning respectively.
And they'll be coming through the first lap at about
75. That's Louis Arenello of Kingswood and Cameron DeLeva of Raymond in the 1 and 2 positions. Anything different about running in the rain for you than?
I mean, I think it's a little better. I think it's fine. I think it's
as long
good
as it's
for
not
rain.
like a tropical storm, right?
Yeah. And
It
also
does
it's
keep you
pretty
cooler,
warm. Yeah, and it's also pretty warm out, so
right?
I guess
As long
for
as
a
you've got
distance
spikes on, it shouldn't bother you on the track because it should allow you to keep your footing. But if you're running in trainers, it can get a little bit dicey.
For distance runners, the rain is probably pretty good weather.
Right.
But for sprinters and throwers,
Throwers for
Maybe,
sure.
yeah,
It's not
definitely
gonna.
not the
It's
best.
not gonna help them.
yeah.
Jumpers probably too, because then they get all the sand stuck on them and it doesn't come off.
And a huge pack.
Yep.
Some
big
almost
pack.
running in lane 3.
Yep.
Looks like the rain is pretty bad coming on this home stretch.
Yep. It's still Louis Arenello of Kingswood leading that pack.
Second pack, yeah.
See all our meet officials trying to stay dry, taking shelter under the tents. Thankfully, it's not windy, it's just rain right now, so it's
Yeah.
coming down pretty vertical. Looking at the forecast, it was pretty much forecasting rain on and off all day long. So as long as you're prepared for this, then it shouldn't be all that difficult. Just make sure you have lots of dry clothes to change into after your race. The thing about being in the rain is once you're cold, you stay cold. You don't get to warm back up again. So staying dry is the best defense against being cold.
It's like Raymond just made a move.
Yep. That's
First.
Cameron Daleva.
Yep.
405 and the bell lap. So they're looking at right around a 520, 522.
Yeah. Now it's a down 4.
Yeah.
Really falling.
And we have our tent to stay dry.
Yep.
Hopefully we will continue to stay dry.
I hope the wind doesn't come.
Yeah. And we'll be putting up the sides of this thing if the wind picks up.
A strong finish. Flying.
Here we have Cameron Daleva.
Five
5:17.
16, maybe. 5:21. 22.
Prospect Mountain, Belmont,
24,
Oyster River,
25,
Hopkinton,
26,
St.
26.
Thomas.
Oh,
Everyone finishing more or less together in packs.
some crazy battle.
Goffstown and Kennett.
Oh. Oh.
Oh. Monadnock just nipping Kingswood at the line.
Yeah.
John Stark, Guilford, and Plymouth finishes up our second heat. Our third heat coming out to the track now. You've got Connor Brown of Goffstown, Zach Herndon of Lebanon, Matthew McDonough of Guilford, Theodore Milano of Hopkinton, James Brady of Kearsarge, Joseph Tierney of Bishop Brady, Simon Page of Hopkinton, Donovan Lombara of Monadnock, Peter Burnham of Hanover, Reese Montague of John Stark, Riker Kimball of Merrimack Valley, Max Shumway of Conval, Michael Kulig of Plymouth, Ethan Dempsey of Raymond, and Wyatt Kramer of Raymond. We're going to put up the wall again, keep us dry. It's getting a little bit windy now. All right, third heat is off. It's clean.
This is the third heat of the boys 1,600 meter unseeded. There is one more after this.
Do what we can to stay dry. Looks like our leader is that's Theodore Milano of Hopkinton. Connor Brown of Goffstown going in at 73.
Dylan Lassard, please meet Coach Mullen on the straightaway. Dylan Lassard, please meet Coach Mullen on the straightaway.
It's a 4:42 pace, so that's quite a bit faster than these guys came in as their seed time.
Yeah.
Likely that they slow down just a bit.